So a few weeks ago, I posted a reel on Instagram and it was basically announcing, coming out, I don't know what you want to call it, that we were homeschooling our four children, 11, 11, 9, and 7. Four kids. Okay. Yes, we have 11-year-old twins and a 9-year-old. They're boys. And then we have a 7-year-old little girl, Noah, Brody, Joe, and Bonnie. And I just basically posted a reel on how that we were doing something that we never thought we would be doing, was never on our dream board, was never on our 2025 bingo card. It wasn't something we ever truly desired. I was a teacher. Like I love school. I would go back to school if the Lord ever so called me to. Like I love school. And so it's funny how, we're doing these crazy called series. I wrote a book this past year on stepping forward with the crazy call in your life that doesn't make sense, that feels impossible, illogical, irresponsible, maybe even, and you feel crazy. And I thought that once I wrote the book on that and we moved our family from our hometown dream home to a land we didn't know anybody to a place that we never saw would be our hometown or our place that we would live, that I would walk away from my business. I would do ministry, like all of these things I thought were all just crazy callings in my life. I felt like once I wrote the book about it, that the Lord would give me a break with all the crazy calls. And he didn't. He called us back in the spring to homeschool. And I knew that he had called me to do this because Thomas was feeling the same thing. And we didn't share this with one another because we both felt crazy. I was writing a book. I was launching a new business, Welded Women. I was getting back into the swing of podcasting. Again, Thomas, his business was growing and he's doing the thing. And so it's like, God, like, how are we going to do all these things while having our four young children at home all day, every day? Like, when will we work? When will I podcast? When will I write this book? When will we literally breathe or do anything productive with four children home? And then also, how am I supposed to like be fully responsible for the education of these four babies? Like how I didn't understand. I didn't know. So, this was never a podcast episode I was going to do. This wasn't, again, on the list of podcast ideas, episode ideas that I was going to do. But after I posted that reel about how we felt called to homeschool, and after fighting, struggling, wrestling, waiting, wondering if we were crazy, wondering if this was just wondering like what in the world was happening. And then we finally said yes. We got the mentorship. We said we did the thing. And now here we are feeling all the feels and feeling blessed and seeing God's miracles and seeing how I received more comments, messages, emails than any other piece of content I've put out there. And I've put out a lot of crazy content. I've put out a lot of crazy things that the Lord has asked us to do. And then we were obedient. We said yes. And the miracles and all the things that happen. I put a lot of valuable business content out there to help people like financially and, step into their purpose and, create products that are aligned with their purpose. Like I've put out a lot of stuff, but this homeschooling hit a nerve with some people, and something that I've realized just being in ministry, being in business and observing and watching is that God works not just in individuals, not in just his individual children, his individual sons and daughters. He works across the whole church. And so he's doing something in the hearts, in the minds, in the spirits of his children. And it's happening everywhere. And it's homeschooling. And I don't understand it. And I can't quite tell you why. I think I have my own ideas on why he's doing this, on why he's calling his church to focus on the family and to home and to homeschool and to get them out of government schools. I can give you all of my theories on why. But today I want to talk to you about the fears that we had, the struggles we had. I'm not going to like candy coat this so that it's like rainbows and butterflies. The changes we made. So 3 fears, 3 struggles, 3 changes, 3 ways that we're homeschooling, because I'm a tactical person. I want to tell, if you're wondering, like, what do you do? I'm going to tell you 3 ways we're doing it. And then I'm also going to share 3 things that God has taught me about this specific call. And then 3 things that you can do if you feel called to homeschool, and what I did and what I suggest you do, like as a mentor, sister, friend. And so this might not be for anyone, but I think it might be for a few. I mean, even if I'll say this before you turn it off because you're like, well, this is about homeschooling, I'm not going to listen. Even if you are like, homeschooling is not on my radar, it is not what I'm called to do, I truly think that you will find value in this episode because it's how God works. I'm going to be sharing how he is so kind in his callings. I'm going to be sharing a lot of things that might not be for your specific call to homeschool, but it might be for your specific call to fill in the blank of something that you're not qualified, ready, or wanting. Okay? So don't turn it off because you're not called to homeschool. Listen to the overall struggles, fears, and what God has taught me specifically, and maybe you'll resonate with it, and hopefully you do. So just to recap, my husband and I are both, I call us parentpreneurs. We have lots of kids. Thomas has 2 businesses. I not only have one, thank you, Jesus. Well done, women. He's a realtor now, and he has a property management company called Orange Beach Life. We're down here in Orange Beach, Alabama. Shout out if you are looking for an investment property and you need a realtor and somebody to manage your property, Thomas Bruce can handle it. And shout out if you are a Christian woman who wants to connect your purpose and align it with a business and do the thing you're called to do for Jesus to help and love, serve people, and make money for your family. Hello, shout out, well done, women. Okay, that's what we do. That's what we do every day. And we have 4 children. And so when we felt called to homeschool, we were neck deep in our businesses. Again, I was in the middle of writing a book, leading a mastermind community, leading a membership community, creating a new coaching program. I was in the thick of it, like probably my busiest season to date. Okay. Writing a book is a lot. That's a whole nother episode. So was he. He was getting into spring. Summer was approaching. That's his busiest time, spring and summer, because that's when everybody wants to come down to the beach. I was sitting in a hospital room with my son, Brody. He was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. It was very, it was very heavy. We weren't sure what the future was going to look like in the hospital room. And I think in a lot of hospital rooms, God speaks loudly. Anytime that you are desperate for his face, for his healing, for his touch, you hear him more clearly than when you're in the day-to-day grind. I have an episode called When God Slows You Down, a few episodes back. So go check that out if that's where you're at right now. I was a little confused on, we were in the thick of all the things, momentum was happening, and then my baby was sent to the hospital. We stayed for a week. Here we are 9 months later. I just need to give you an update. He is doing so well. And I'm wondering if he's healed because he's not experiencing any pain anymore. And so that's a whole nother episode for a whole nother day. We got episodes upon episodes coming apparently. But we were in this season and I heard the Lord say in my spirit, it's time to homeschool. Bring them home. Bring them home. And meanwhile, Thomas was at home with our 3 children. I was an hour away at the hospital for a week. He was at home with 3 kids, and he was hearing the same thing. Bring them home. Bring them home. We felt crazy. So crazy, we didn't even tell each other for like weeks. I finally, because God is persistent in his call, and that's something you need to know about the character of God. He loves us so much. He doesn't want us to miss it. He's going to be persistent in the call. And it's going to keep coming up in your spirit, in your thoughts, in your journaling, when you watch something. He's going to send people. I had a friend named Paige. She was in Well Done Women. She came randomly to Orange Beach. She's like, do you want to get lunch? She's a homeschool mom. Like, we had this conversation and I'm like, Lord, what are you doing? God is persistent. So Paige, shout out to you. because God used you in that season. So God is persistent. We finally had a conversation about it. We got confirmation that, okay, God is going to call both husband and wife to the same call because that's his character, that like we are one flesh. So that's another kind of like tidbit. Get with your husband if you feel like God calling you to do the crazy, because he's going to plant that seed in your husband's heart at the right time for the call to happen. Okay. And so the only path to our peace was surrendering and say yes, despite the fears, despite the insecurities, despite the questions, despite like the how is this going to actually happen, God, I don't understand. Like this doesn't make sense. But in order for us to both have peace, we had to say yes. We had to surrender. Okay. And even though we were like, okay, God, we're doing this, like we knew by the end of the school year, we had told their teachers, like, we're going to homeschool next year. And we felt crazy saying that, but we had peace. We had complete peace. And that's another thing. Like when you say yes and you feel peace, that is you stepping into the call in your life. But that didn't just erase all of the fears. So here are the 3 fears that we had. And it might be the same for you if you feel called to homeschool or literally called to do anything that you aren't feeling like you're ready for. Is number 1, the fear of failure. The question I had over and over in my head is, what if I ruin my kids? What if I ruin my kids? What if I ruin my kids? What if I can't keep up? What if this fails? Because we tried homeschooling before and we failed miserably. What if we fail? So the fear of failure was in my mind over and over and over again. I had this same fear when we felt called to step down, when I felt called to step away from my 7-figure company. Like, what if I don't, like, what's going to happen if I fail at whatever I have next? I was so successful at this. Like, what if I fail in the future? Like, so the fear of failure was heavy. The fear of sacrifice was heavy too. Selfishly, I knew I would have to sacrifice my time, my freedom, the structure that I had in my business, like my day-to-day structure, my business hours, my quiet, my peace. Like I had fear of sacrificing me time, my own comforts. And I hate admitting that, and I hate that about myself, but it was just the truth. I'm like, well, what about me, God? Like I'm going to have to pour all this time into my kids. So I had fear of sacrifice. And then I had fear of not being enough. Not being enough. I'm, like I don't feel like I can do this. I don't feel like I don't have enough patience. I don't feel like I have enough time. I don't feel like I have enough, like I can't do math. Like how am I'm not enough for this. I'm not qualified for this. But once we started walking out this homeschool journey, those fears quickly became real life struggles we had to walk through. So those fears manifested in struggles. Here they go. Here's the struggles we faced. I promise there will be good news coming. Struggles we faced. Finding rhythm. Balancing homeschool business in real life. That was a struggle we faced. That was hard. And that is going to be hard in any transition season. When God calls you from one season to the next, it's like, okay, now we have to find this new rhythm, and it's uncomfortable. And it kind of sucks because what was working then is not going to work now. And now we have to find our new structure, our new rhythm, our new schedule. And there's always some growing pains in that. Another struggle we faced was comparison and critics. I talked about that a couple weeks ago in what's keeping you stuck in your calling. This was keeping me stuck. It was an actual struggle. I compared myself to all these homeschool Pinterest perfect families that I was like, that ain't us. Like that's what is happening here. I was comparing myself to what I thought a homeschool mom would look like or be like or teach like or show up as. And shout out to all you homeschool moms who are on Instagram and like sharing all the things. But sometimes it's the comparison can cripple us who feel like we'll never amount to that. And then there was obviously the critics from friends, from family, from people who didn't necessarily agree with us homeschooling. And we had to be solid enough to say, we are called to this. We don't understand why. We don't understand what God's doing, but we know that we know that we know our Father's voice and that He is good and He has good plans for us. Like, we were preaching to ourselves just as much as we are having these conversations with others. Like, we had to constantly remind ourselves that God is good. He is faithful. He is the provider. He is sovereign, and He knows what's coming and why this is necessary for us now. So that was it. We struggled with the rhythm. We struggled with comparison. We struggled with the critics. And then we struggled with patience. We struggled with having the patience to slow down and see homeschooling as discipleship and not just academics. Like, that was the main thing that we struggled with, was not seeing our kids as projects, but seeing them as God's children that we were created for, to mold and guide and minister to. And it's not just about the curriculum. It's about the connection that we have with our children. And so those struggles really required us to change the way we did literally everything, the way that we lived, the way that we thought, the way that we did our life and business. And so here are 3 changes that we made. Number one of the biggest changes we made was how we work. We're solopreneurs. I don't have a team. My husband, like, we are solopreneurs. Like, we are all the things in our businesses. And so we couldn't work while the kids were at school. Now we had to work with our kids. So Thomas, just practically, he takes the kids to check on his condos with him. I let the kids sit with me while I'm coaching, while I'm podcasting. If we need quiet, we take turns for office hours to come into this office and work, or to go. I love to go to coffee shops. So we had to change the way that we worked. We also had to change the way that we lived. And one of the ways that I love now is that we have slow mornings. I'm not doing my quiet time alone anymore. I'm doing my quiet time, my Bible study time, my journaling time, my prayer time with the kids. And it's not perfect every day, but the twins on their own are now reading scripture with me. We have rules, we have boundaries, I demand quiet because this is what this time is for. And so, we'll listen to worship music together. I'll read my Bible together. The twins are now reading their Bible on their own, and it's been so good. It's been so great. It's been ministering to me so much. And that's one of the huge reasons why I'm like, God, I see you. I see your goodness in this. And although it is hard, like, we are able to have slow mornings. We are not rushing out the door anymore. They're watching me do my quiet time, and I'm doing it with them. We're able to talk about Samuel and Saul and all the things that are happening. Like, I'm able to talk to my kids about it, where, like, before I just sent them to their little Christian private school and just expected them to do it there. So that's one huge way. Another thing is everything is intentional learning, every single thing. And that's what was wild is now everything that we do, because they're not sitting in a desk all day. It's like, okay, we're going to learn how to grocery shop. Here's a scavenger hunt. You go find the tomatoes, you go find the chuck roast, you go find the butter. And like, it's now intentional learning. Literally everything, me going to the post office, cooking, they're cooking literally every meal with me. We're cleaning together. We're calling my friends together. That's one of the huge things that I wanted the kids to see, is how grown-ups have friendships and how to maintain those friendships. I'm teaching them, like, when we host guests, we have guests, like, living at the beach, we have friends from everywhere who come stay with us almost every weekend. So I'm teaching them about hosting and why we host and why we create an atmosphere for our guests to come in that is peaceful and calming and beautiful. Why we feed them, laundry, dishes. I mean, you name it, everything is intentional learning. And another way that we changed how we live is just flexible schedules. We have anchor points throughout the day, but between those like anchor points of times that we do things, they're free to do whatever they want to do, whatever they're interested in doing. And so the way that we have structured our like flexible schedule is number one, homeschool has to be done before lunch. Number two, lunch is at noon. Quiet time is first thing in the morning. Reading time is at 2 o'clock, and I'm going to share that in just a minute, how we're homeschooling. Reading is at 2 o'clock every day, 30 minutes. 5:30 is dinner time. So if friends are over, they have to leave by then. 6:30 is bath. And then mom and dad are off the clock by 8. 8 o'clock. Like 7 o'clock, I go do my bath time. 8 o'clock, we literally say, y'all can hang out and watch Looney Tunes. Mom and dad are having mom and dad time. So at 8 o'clock, we are quote unquote clocked out, and it's amazing. So that's kind of like how we have rhythms. We have anchor points throughout the day. They know at 2 o'clock what that means. They know at 5:30 what that means. But it's just flexible, and we're able to change it at any time, and it's a beautiful thing. We also changed how we homeschool. Okay, so we changed how we do our work. We changed how we do our life. We changed how we homeschool. We gave up the need to do it right, and I'm putting air quotes for my podcast listeners. We gave up the need to do it right, and we focused on just making sure we do it faithfully. And this is for any call in your life. Whatever it is that God's calling you to do, stop letting the enemy spit lies into your head that you're not doing it good enough. You're not doing it right. Somebody else is doing it better. And you just focus on doing it faithfully. And stop comparing yourself on what you should be doing because of other people. My family and your family are very different. My family, I have 4 kids. I have a child with autism, and we are very different. They're very close in age, and it's not the same as someone with 2 kids who aren't struggling with autism, right? Like it's different. So I have to understand that and be okay with that and not focus on what I should do, but just do what I'm called to do and do it faithfully. Something that I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, when I knew I was going to say yes. When I say yes to homeschooling, like, can I please travel with my kids? Like, can you give us that opportunity to travel? Because I love to travel. Can you please give them a love for reading books? Because I love reading books. Like, I wanted this to be pleasurable and something that was specific to us. And he's allowed it. Like, we've traveled so many times. It's just in the last 4 months, we've been homeschooling. We went to Birmingham. We went to Tennessee. We went to Gatlinburg. We have a trip planned. We're going back to Chattanooga. And so we're able to do that. We go to Louisiana anytime we want. And so I want to encourage you that if you feel called to homeschool, you don't have to do it like everybody else. Do it how God has wired you and your family that is pleasurable to you and pleasing to the Lord. All right. So that is 3 changes we made, 3 ways we're homeschooling. And this is probably what some homeschool people, you're called to homeschool. It's like, this is why I'm listening to this episode. Tell me what to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to share what we're doing. 3 ways we're homeschooling is we use Acellus. It's an online program. So they have 4 teachers that are not me. They have 4 online teachers. They are self-paced. And that's our main curriculum. That's our main backbone curriculum that they do. It's self-paced, and it's amazing. Look it up, Acellus, Acellus, I believe, Acellus, and they finish it within an hour. So they do their 4 core subjects: reading, math, science, and social studies, and they all pretty much take about an hour a day, and they go through it. It's very interactive, lots of videos. They're writing, again, they're reading, they're doing all the things, and they love it. And I'm just kind of managing, and I'm not actually teaching the core subjects because I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. It was a pain the last time we did it. And so they have 4 teachers, they're able to do it, and they finish in an hour. They do that Monday through Friday. And most of the time, this is embarrassing, but most of the time they finish their homeschool, their 1 hour before I'm even up, before I'm even done with my coffee. They're doing it. They do it on their iPad. It's an app. It's amazing. 10 out of 10 recommend. I will say it's not a Christian curriculum. So if you're looking for a Christian curriculum, this is not that. This is just an accredited basic curriculum. I'm teaching Bible study, I'm teaching theology, I'm teaching how to be spiritually formed. I feel like that's my job, and so that's what I'm doing. But I'm outsourcing their academics to this program, SLS. The second thing we're doing is STEAM camp. Homeschooling is such a big deal now. Everybody's doing it. I'm sure you've seen the news reports how like some schools are having to cut teachers because people are homeschooling. And so there's co-ops everywhere. There's literally everywhere. I found one. It's called STEAM. It's in our area, and I drop off the kids. That's where they're at right now while I'm podcasting for 3 hours once a week. And they do STEAM projects, that's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. They do projects. And so they're hanging out with the kids and they're doing hands-on projects because you know what? I hate doing projects. I hate doing science experiments. So again, I've outsourced that. Number 3 is we're doing reading time every day for 30 minutes. Our whole family stops production. We stop work. We stop our business. We stop whatever we're doing, playing with, cleaning, and we all find a cozy spot in our house or outside if it's a pretty day, and we read for 30 minutes. I literally set a timer, and it's quiet, and we're reading, and it's beautiful, and that's my favorite part of the day. And then we're also traveling. We're turning trips into lessons. We're going to the beach. We're going to the mountains, history, science, all the things. And that's what we love to do. And it's been so fun. And so make your homeschooling part of what you love to do. Okay. It doesn't have to be treacherous. It doesn't have to be terrible. Figure out what y'all love as a family and then incorporate homeschooling into that. All right, moving on. Almost done. Here are 3 things that God taught me about homeschooling, and then we're going to wrap this up. Desires follow the obedient yes. That is the biggest thing that I have found with every single call in my life. When I get called to do something wild, crazy, impossible, illogical, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, I never wanted this. Desires follow the obedient yes. Once I said yes to homeschooling, God gave me the passion and the desire and the excitement to have my kids with me and to make everything a learning moment. And so whatever you're called to do, homeschooling, starting a business, launching a podcast, writing a book, and you're like, I don't know where this came from. God gives us those desires when we are obedient. So trust him. He's a good God. He's a good father. He wants you to enjoy your life. Like, imagine that. Like, he's going to call you into something that he knows you're going to enjoy. So say yes, be obedient, and then watch what God does. Number 2, God's callings aren't always about platforms. They're always about provisions, productions. God's callings are sometimes just simply for protection. And I know this specifically with homeschool. We didn't have a massive jump in our production or our income, or I didn't have like Instagram growth, like because we were obedient into this. Like, that's not why God calls us to do something. Sometimes he just wants to protect us and our kids from something that we can't see yet. Quick story. I somehow got roped into this group text. My kids don't have phones, but with their friends from this other school, and they're texting things that I would never allow my kids to see, experience, click on, or hear at all. And so I told my husband, I said, if God's called us to homeschool and we made all these changes in our life just to protect them from this group chat where they would be seeing things that their eyes should not be seeing, then it was all worth it. Like, God protected us. God protected the boys. And for that, thank you, God. Another thing God taught me was God's assignments in your life will not conflict one another. I thought the call of my life to write, to preach, to coach, to teach, to lead women, I thought that call would not work with homeschooling. And that's why I was like, God, I don't understand. These are conflicting callings. That's not like, God does not call you to do things that conflict one another. Homeschooling has forced me to work smarter, to change things in my business that I should have changed a long time ago, to restructure my business, and ultimately do more for Jesus. It's crazy to think that I thought that homeschooling would take time away. Homeschooling has expanded my time exponentially, and I can't figure out how. God's economy does not work, and neither does his time. It doesn't work like ours. We see that with like financially, like we've heard that like God's economy does not work like ours. When we give, he gives more. We can't outgive God, right? Same thing with time. When we give God our time, when we say yes and to what he's called us to do, he expands that time that we have. It's wild. Like that's how amazing our God is. And I don't understand it. I'm not required to understand it, but I am required to be faithful and to be obedient and to preach and teach about his goodness and what he's doing and encourage you to step boldly into what you're called to do, whatever that is. So if you feel called to homeschool or with any calling on your life, here are your next steps, okay? Whether it's homeschooling, whether it's writing a book, launching a podcast, starting a business, whatever you feel called to do, first thing I want to encourage you to do is say yes. Just say yes. Surrender. Say yes. Yes, Lord, I will do this. Second thing is to get a mentor or a coach. Get someone who has done it, who is doing it, who is it, whatever the thing that you feel called to do is, get under their leadership, get under their mentorship. I called about 5 homeschool moms when I felt called to homeschool. I said, help. I don't know what I'm doing. Teach me, mentor me. I met with someone for 3 hours. Shannon, I love you. I met her for like 3 hours for coffee, and she helped me change my mindset, my belief system, like everything that I was struggling with, the fears that I had. That's exactly what I needed in that moment. So number 1, say yes. Number 2, get a mentor. And again, if you feel called, I'm not a homeschool coach, but I am a business coach. If you feel called to start this thing that requires a business, an online business, if you called to host a retreat, launch a coaching program, masterminds, podcast, write a book. Like if you feel like if you're called to take what's inside of you and to help others with it, that's what I'm doing. I can help you. Go to welldonwomen.com and see all of the things that I can help you with. I would love to be your coach. I would love to be your mentor. That's what I feel called to do. And so you would be blessing me by allowing me to do that. So say yes, get a mentor, and then write down all the steps that you know to take and do one of those things this week. What's one thing you know you could do this week? If it's homeschool, pull the kids out. Like that's one thing that you can do. Go drop them from school. Okay. Look up a Acellus. Like if you're like, oh, this sounds great, just do some research. What's one thing you can do this week? Put in your planner and do it. If you feel God stirring your heart towards something that scares you, whatever that is, whether it's homeschooling, starting a business, saying yes to this brand new season of your life that you don't feel qualified for or ready for, remember, the fear you might be feeling might just be the doorway to what God has for you in your calling. Don't let fear stop you. Let fear motivate you to keep going. And if you memorize no other verse, memorize this verse. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. Deuteronomy 31:6. This is the verse that I have my kids memorize, and we say it every day. Be strong and courageous. One of my favorite things about courage is it literally requires nothing. It requires no skill set, no giftings. It doesn't require a degree. It doesn't require a level of maturity. It doesn't require an age range. Like you've got to be at least 30 years old to have courage. No, courage doesn't require anything. It just requires you to make a decision. It's just a decision. So be strong and courageous. Make a decision. What are you going to do today to step boldly into the call in your life? And then he says, don't be afraid. Like I'm with you. God says, I'm with you. I won't abandon you. I won't fail you. Trust that God is who he says he is, and he'll do what he says that he'll do. You just be faithful with the call. So I hope this was helpful. That's all I have for you today. If this did help you, or you feel like something, if you want to share it on your social media, or you feel like someone specifically needs to hear it, please share it. That's how we grow this podcast. That's how I'm able to reach more people, to reach a bigger audience. And that's what I feel called to do. So help me step forward into my calling by sharing this episode with other people. And again, if you are one of the people who are like, this episode was for me, thank you. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull my kids, whatever that is, reach out on our Facebook community. You can go to Well Done Women Community on Facebook, on our Instagram. We're Well Done Women, Brittany C. Bruce on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're seeing this or experiencing this, please reach out. I want to hear from you. I want to meet you. Because it really just, it makes my day. And I love you. And I want to help you. And I hope this blesses you. So, all right, guys, I'm excited for the next episode coming up next week. It's a good one. And until then, just remember to always love people, serve people, and change lives.